Welcome to TimeBolt Office Hours on January 18th, 2024. You're live with Doug Quinston and our compadre TJ. And we're here to answer your questions, check your workflows, and generally just make sure that you get the best out of TimeBolt. Today, we're going to be talking about a few product updates and hopefully have some customers come on the line. I know we've had a couple support questions. Just have a general discussion. There we go. Dan, is there anything that we can help you with today? Do you have any specific questions about workflows? Anything in particular?
Nope, I'm just looking to see what you have. It's been a while since I've been on board. I purchased a long time ago the app, and I use it as I record my Lean Six Sigma training. I use it to cut it down because my training's all done live online, and then I share it with my clients. But I was just looking I haven't been on a call in a while. So I thought I'd join. Thanks.
Nice. Well, it's great to have you. You're making Lean Six Sigma. Can you tell us a little bit about your recording, just so we can have some context on the type of content you make, how you record?
Right now, I use GoToMeeting to record my videos. My training sessions are 4 hours long. They're live online. And of course, I have to pause it and take breaks and things along the way. Some of the other video recording apps won't allow you to pause, right? And then pick up again. That's why I've used GoToMeeting. Once I'm done with the training, I download the video, I run it through TimeBolt, and then I make sure it looks good. And then I upload it into a special directory. So my clients tend to be the big international consulting firms that I'm teaching these Lean Six Sigma improvement methodologies, a private directory where they can go and watch the videos. And by taking out all the dead spots, and it significantly reduces that 4 hour video to a video that is manageable. And then I can also put marks and slices in there if I want to divvy it up into sections.
I guess the first question would be, Quinston, what is technically the challenge of pausing? Like he's saying that he's using GoToMeeting to pause because he can pause the recording. Is that something that we could look at doing with our screen recorder?
Sure. I feel like one of the main benefits of GoToMeeting is that GoToMeeting, I think Loom, where it uploads everything to the cloud. While you're recording, the video directly goes to the cloud. And I think the interesting thing is that when you pause, it creates probably a chunk, which it stores in some storage space online. And then when you start it again, it just keeps adding to that same location so that the video gets longer and doesn't, bifurcate or fragment into separate pieces. So you can have the whole video at a time. And that can be done offline on TimeBolt. One of the things that would happen then is that there will be an extended time after recording to just chunk them together and render it again. That would be an extra. We were to add a feature like that in TimeBolt. It could be possible. It would just require more processing time because this would depend on the processing speed of the local machine rather than the servers online. And the servers online are significantly faster than what could happen. I think the time to delivery would be something that would increase.
So Quinston and Doug, just after I'm done recording the video, when I'm done with the class, I end the video, I end it properly. And it does take maybe 3, 4, 5 hours before they render it and send me a link saying, hey, your video is ready to go. It's not instantaneous by any means. It does take time to do. And I need that capability because I didn't want to get lost in, all right, let me find the first hour video before we took a break. Let me find the second hour. Let me find the third hour. And it just works out well for me.
That makes sense. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, okay, to connect them together, you need to have some amount of time for the processing to take place. That's what you said. Like it takes 2 to 3 hours for it to happen.
Exactly.
Now with GoToMeeting, I would imagine it's kind of like WebEx and some of these other and just meetings in Zoom. With the recording, do you ever have an issue in TimeBolt where maybe the audio and video drift out of sync or anything like that? Have you checked to see if there's a variable?
No, it won't happen with GoToMeeting because they're re-rendering the whole video.
They're re-rendering in a constant frame rate. The other platforms don't.
Zoom doesn't. Zoom will just give you the variable bitrate file and you're going to have a lot of problems and you're going to have to do it manually inside TimeBolt, the re-encoding part. But I think GoToMeeting understands that people have this requirement. They actually re-render the whole video. That's why it takes them 2 to 3 hours to give the link because that's what they're doing in the background.
So how do you correct it with Zoom?
So if you have a Zoom video, you have to either click that third-party thing and Zoom there in the settings, there's a third-party thing. And if you don't do that, TimeBolt has something called VFR detector. If you go to tools and VFR detector, you can take that Zoom call, which wasn't properly formatted in the constant frame rate. You can drop that file inside that TimeBolt tool. And then you can convert it into a constant frame rate file, which you can then put into any video editing application made by TimeBolt, Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve. TimeBolt has a built-in tool which will help with that if you don't have the correct variable constant frame rate file.
And that's exactly what I wanted to show Dan there. I didn't know if it doesn't sound like he's having that problem. But again, I keep using this tool for marketing.
Yeah, it is incredibly common to have these issues nowadays because everybody's using the Zoom recorder. Everybody's using even if you record offline with a lot of these recording tools, which come as an extension in the browser, sometimes even they have the same issue where the variable frame rate, because there's a limitation with browser technology where they can't convert to constant frame rate. They have to record in variable frame rate. And this is like when we started TimeBolt, like this was like a rampant problem. Everybody had the same issue. Why aren't the videos and the audio synced? It doesn't make any sense. And that's what we came up with. That's we had to create this tool.
What you have to know about variable frame rates, you can't just right click and say, oh, look at the info and properties, it's variable frame rate. No, there's like 10 lines of code that you have to run in command line to understand if a file is variable frame rates. What Quinston did was he packaged all that up into a simple press a button, and this is the first variable frame rate detector, and you can change it. Literally go up to the tools section, hit variable frame rate detector, you select your file, okay, and it'll run and let you, if it's got variable frame rates, and if it does, it'll tell you the percentage involved, and then it gives you the option to re-encode at a constant frame rate. Where this also comes into play a lot is that, I don't know if you're on a Mac, Dan, how are you on a Mac or a PC?
On a MacBook.
What happens with the MacBook Pro, if you record your screen, actually doing native screen recording within QuickTime produces a variable frame rate. But if you throw that into TimeBolt and you're recording it, and you then export into Final Cut Pro or some other NLE, it'll actually, the frames will drift and unsync. You run your variable frame rate detector or convert to a constant frame rate. Okay, you can do that, this re-encoder. So you got a re-encoder as well. It'll turn it to constant frame rate, and it fixes those problems entirely. And Quinston, I personally had experience with that this last week.
With the recorder, right? The QuickTime recorder also produces the same issues because the QuickTime recorder uses a lower level library inside of the Mac ecosystem called Aperture. And what happens is when your machine itself cannot process all the pixels instantaneously, because it's basically taking snapshots, right, of the screen to record the screen. And if it can't process those in the video fast enough, it has to drop some of those frames. And that's what causes variable frame rate, because the amount of frames in 1 second is changing the amount of frames in a second. That's variable frame rate.
Here's my workflow. My classes, I have a partnership with Dartmouth.
Okay.
Dartmouth is an Ivy League college here. I record my videos using GoToMeeting. And then once it renders, like I told you, Quinston takes 3, 4, maybe 5 hours, right? Because I have all the pauses in there for the different breaks. I download that video. I upload it into TimeBolt. I use it I don't do an Umcheck on it. I just remove all the dead space, right? I'm trying to get that video as small as possible. Then I upload, from TimeBolt, I upload it into Camtasia and take a quick look through Camtasia to see if there's something that I missed. I might want to add a slide or put a comment in there. From Camtasia, I download that, and then I upload it into my hosting provider. So it's quite a big workflow to go from a 4-hour video to reducing it to a manageable size.
We have a Camtasia exporter. I don't know if about that to use.
I haven't.
So we have a Camtasia exporter. We can save you 1 step. You don't need to render from TimeBolt. You can use the Camtasia exporter, and it will give you non-destructible cuts. So it's instantaneous essentially. So you just click the button, and it gives you the cuts. Just put them into Camtasia, and you're good to go. It's at the bottom. If you scroll in TimeBolt to the bottom where the export section is, there's something called TSC Pro. So that's the format for Camtasia. I think we have a tutorial for this. If you go to multi-file utilities, I think there's a Camtasia link over there somewhere. I don't know.
Well,
features. Correct.
I'm doing 16 hours of video a week. I have on my training course.
Export at the bottom, there's Camtasia, and there's like a
I see that.
How to operate. All of our export options are here. I don't, Dan, I'll just be straight up with you. I do these with these files like this, or with these calls, we end up with an 1.5 hour long file, right? It's not 3, it's not 4, but it's still an 1.5 hour. After it saves to my computer through Zoom, I'll do my automations. When I run Umcheck, okay, I'm saving an additional, if it's 10 minutes, okay, of nothing but ums, ahs, and actual repeats, okay? I can't imagine going back through 3 hours and like putting it into Camtasia just because I kind of want to add a slide maybe. Like that would be a whole lot of work, and it's a lot of assumption that your whole thing's getting watched 3 hours, and then it's worth doing all the rendering to add a couple minutes or like a 10 to add a slide. You've got 3 hours. It's not just about cutting it all down, it's also about categorizing what's inside, right? Like so do you upload these to YouTube?
I upload them into YouTube as what do you call it? Unindexed. It's as a playlist for my specific client that they only have a link to.
Let's just assume that we're going to get you not going into Camtasia anymore, and you're going to use this all for TimeBolt. What I can show you how to do that will improve your workflow. Our Umcheck, it's not just removing the ums and ahs. Okay, it does entire keyword phrases, and now we also have repeats. These are all the total filler words. We run false start detection, and excellent. You basically repeat yourself multiple times. And what I'm saying is that out of all these, we are easily getting an additional 12% of time removed out of the content. okay, just with Umcheck. What you would do, what I do is, right, after I run my automations, the one thing I would do, if you're going to be watching this full through again, okay, just once to check for content and categorize what's inside, use chapter markers for YouTube. What you check your workflows and generally just make sure that you, okay, like I just right click. This is chapter 1 going through, it's chapter 2, and I can even scroll over. See how it puts a little mark right here?
Yep, I see that.
Okay, now let's do chapter 3. And then what I would definitely recommend that you do, again, you can't export and add time, okay, inside Camtasia, because now your chapter markers are marked, okay? But what I would do right now is go activate turbo mode. We're going to do, I would talk at no less than 1.125x speed, okay? Who doesn't want to talk 12% faster? That your whole video compresses down. You don't sound like a chipmunk. You just sound smarter and faster in real life, right? And at a 3-hour video, that's almost, it's really important. You throw on turbo mode, and because all your cuts are going to be sped up by 12%, your chapter markers will be off. All you're going to do is download chapter's text file, okay? And then you go back and you just run it, okay? Run it right inside TimeBolt. What you're gonna find is with our text file, I don't know how long it takes you to go back and do chapters for YouTube, but now you've got copy paste chapter markers for YouTube that copy right into the description that are accounted for, and your whole video is probably gonna save you another 30 to 45 minutes of time watching it by simply removing all the ums, ahs, repeats, how you do your chapter markers. This alone will save you 3 hours of rewatching your content.
How I do the chapters now is I can get the transcription, and I have a code word phrase that I use, right? Okay, we're moving on to the next topic. I have in the transcription when it says, okay, we're moving on to the next topic, I drop it into, I built like a little custom GPT for myself. It will take that and create chapters for me, saying, all right, what preceded this? Create a chapter title.
Okay, that's good.
But this is just as this is one fell swoop here. I see what you're saying.
It just gives you full, complete control. Like AI can get. It sounds like you're using it. You've got your own like unique way. It's interesting, and to be able to say a keyword and then have it come out. But I found that like these chapters and this AI generated content, they're either going to give away what is up there, but they're giving away what is the section's all about. They're putting too many, too little. I find chapters are like a good way of just organizing content as you're going through. So you're either going to choose to do a bunch of them or highlights. And then obviously with activating turbo mode, you're going to notice when you're talking 12% faster to other people. That's as far as long format goes. That's how I'd recommend handling your workflow. I do want to discuss the 4-letter quick keys. Okay,
let's get to Mauro first, right? Before that,
they're just 4 keys. USOB. Okay, I'm not calling you an SOB. Okay, it just is memorable. All right, USOB. Those are the 4 keys that will have you editing faster than any other editor in the world. Okay, S splits U. Okay, is a brand new key. I want you to just see when I'm going through here. Always put this at 1.5x speed, but defaults when you hit the space bar.
My account, so you have 63
to preview at 1.5x speed. And as I'm going through, I'm going to hit the U key. I'll let you know when I do it.
Transcription minutes added to your account, which are not enough to transcribe this file. You can either pay for the transcription below or add transcription minutes to your account and try again. TLDR, get transcription. You can either pay for the transcription below or add transcription minutes to your account and try again. TLDR, get.
Imagine
or you can go
cut
back
out a bunch of stuff, right? Instead of now having to go back and hit the space bar, stop the thing, and say, okay, now I want to see what all this now sounds like flowing in one direction, right? I'd be over here and I'd be like, okay, I just cut out a bunch of crap. Let me make sure it all makes sense. Now hit U.
This is very simple. You can either pay for the transcription below or add transcription minutes to your account.
Unwinds 3 green parts. It doesn't even stop the playhead. You can just unwind and just see what all the stuff that you cut. So it's very fast to go backwards. Okay.
Again.
Now you've got USS splits the playhead, as you can see right here, right?
It says purchase transcription minute.
You can split the playhead. S. There's USO, turns scenes off. And with our timeline improvement enhancements, look at that. It comes out quick. Okay. And then USO, turn scenes off, and then B, back cuts. You're listening, and I don't know if I need this, and I'm not going to know if I need it in time before it jumps over this green part, right?
That's the transcription credit system. Also, just to note, we have made a conscious choice of keeping both these ways. USOB
is the 4 keys that you need to slice up a timeline like a Ginsu knife. The U key is the new one. Mauro, thanks for joining us. Is there any specific questions I can help you with?
No, I'm just listening and understanding how to accelerate, the process. I don't use as much like you guys use. I need to thank you because this app is amazing. So I'm going to just stay here, just listening and understanding a little bit more how it works. I'm very happy with this app. Thank you so much.
One of the things that I want to get at is we have a lot of customers who love TimeBolt, right? But what they do is they use TimeBolt for its speed, for its ability to remove the silences and create those jump cuts precisely and very fast. But the way we designed TimeBolt was to be something way more than that. And that's where the keyboard shortcuts come in. Like as a programmer, for me, I don't like using my mouse a lot, right? I like using my keyboard. The way we have designed TimeBolt is you can literally edit the whole timeline with just your keyboard. You never have to touch your mouse. And I just want to show how powerful this is for like 2 seconds. I know Doug went through it, but I want to show like how I use TimeBolt without the mouse. I'm not going to use the mouse. Okay, the way I use TimeBolt is I go up, and with up, you basically go to the next cut. With the up key, you go to the next cut. So you don't have to use your mouse to like scroll through. You can just go up. I go to the next cut, previous cut, and I can just go quickly through it. Now with shift up, you go to the next green one. So if I'm pressing shift up and shift down, I'm basically centering to the next green one, which is the cut I'm accepting, the cut TimeBolt is accepted, right? And now the U key. The reason the U key is so powerful now is because let's say I started here, right? Okay, maybe I'm at the third one I'm playing. I press the U key and I can rewind and go back without stopping the playhead to hear what I just, right? So if I'm here, I can go back the U key goes back 3 green sections. So if you have crossed 3 green sections and you want to hear them again, you press the U key, it doesn't stop the playhead, and you just go back 3 green sections so that you can hear them again. And that's why the U key is powerful, because now initially what you had to do was you had to and go down and then play it again. Now you don't need to do that. You're playing, you press U key, and then you can rewind or unwind, as we call it. That's why it's U. Then the S key. The way I use the S key is very easy. So if I hear something, I don't like it, I press shift and right moves the playhead 10 frames left and right. I can come over here, I can press the S key, and I can press the B key, and it's gone. I can come here again. Maybe I don't like this part over here. You come here, press the S key, press the B key, it's gone. And then if I don't want the part that next to it, I can just press O. Remember, O is for forward, B is for back. So if I come to this part over here, turn these on, and I come to the next one, I press B. You see the 2 parts at the back? And if I want to go to where I was before, I can just press the U key, and it will go three green sections ahead before. I have not touched my mouse, by the way, so far. I'm literally doing this all with my keyboard. So you can find all the keyboard shortcuts here. And these keyboard shortcuts will like make you the fastest editor on the planet. I don't think there's any app in the world that does editing fast. That's how I use TimeBolt. I don't use my mouse at all when I use TimeBolt.
Let me ask a question then, if you don't. I'm sorry, I don't want to, if someone else has a question. Now you understand, I'm doing these training sessions, right? I do 16 hours of training a week, live online, they're recorded, and I have to, I'm taking breaks from intermittently pausing them, and it's in 4-hour chunks, 4 hours for 4 days. My workflow, as you understood it, is I use GoToMeeting. I have to wait 3, 4, 5 hours for that to be available. I have to download that. Then my workflow has been, I go right into TimeBolt, remove all that dead time, download that file, right? I make sure I export that file, upload it into Camtasia, and take a quick look-see there, and then upload it to YouTube. What would your recommendation to improve that workflow actually look like?
Well, first of all, I'll not do anything. Camtasia, maybe you would need to use Camtasia because maybe you need to add the slides
I don't
at the front.
I don't have to do that. We'll remove that from the.
Then I would just like put it at 1.5x as Doug says, and just go through it and remove the parts I don't want. Cut it up, just export it, and done.
If you're already listening, like that's the thing. We assume that you're going to have to listen to it once. So we make it very fast. Listen to back once. If you're already listening, you can add your chapters. So you don't even have, like, you're going to hear whatever it is. So you don't add your chapters. Maybe that works better for you. Add your turbo, use your Umcheck, remove the fill. You'll be surprised at just how much extra fluff is removed.
Yeah.
Export and make sure you add turbo. If you export, and you'll be able to edit. You'll be able to like do a fully fine-tuned, polished, and render. Okay, in less time than it took you to record live. Okay, that's our kind of our brand problem, right? Yeah. You can do this, you could do it all within an hour, right? But it's not going to be this finely tuned, polished, half of it's gone because half of it's only relevant type content, right? Like with automations.
And if you have to take it to Camtasia, don't render it from TimeBolt, use the extension because rendering takes a lot of time, and that alone will take you like an hour. That you can use the Camtasia extension. That would be instant. Like literally, you click the button. I'll show you how fast it would be. It's literally this fast. You go to TimeBolt. It's the same speed. So if I click this button, you see it's instant. Then you have to take the text file and drop it into Camtasia, and that's it. You don't have to render from TimeBolt. Even if you don't use TimeBolt for all the benefits that Doug just mentioned, you still save a lot of time.
Does that answer your question, Dan?
Yes, it does. Yes, thank you.
Excellent. Perfect. Once
Hi, Srini. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Basically, I have a raw file that has about 6 layers, and 2 of them has audio. 1 is mic, 1 is gameplay. It merges my mic and gameplay together and duplicates that 1 layer into 3 different layers, and none of the layers have separate audios whenever I export it to XML. How do I fix that? DaVinci Resolve, I think.
Yeah, you can.
All right, there we go.
So now what you got to do is that's a lot of audio tracks. You got to select the all the green ones. Just select all the green ones.
I'm gonna need to. Do I need to unlink it?
Oh no. Right click, then go to clip attributes.
Where
At the bottom, third from the bottom.
Third from the bottom. There you go. Yep.
So now you got to go to audio, and then you got to select which tracks you want on which section. You have a lot of tracks. There are some, I think some are mono, some are stereo. So you can select which ones you want on which. This is the only process that you got to do manually. But
This should. And then just this is basically the layers, is it?
correct. Each track will be either mono or stereo, and then you can select how many you want on each of them. This is DaVinci thing. This is not even related to TimeBolt, by the way.
See, I still can't see the gameplay. So this is the gameplay and the mic put together.
Oh, no, it's not. So TimeBolt just does that in the app. It doesn't do it over here. So the XML file is a non-destructive file. It's not. It doesn't alter any of your files that are on disk.
Right. If I play it, should have.
If you have set them correctly, it should have it. If you write,
so you can hear the mic and the game, right?
I can't. You haven't shared your
Oh.
sound in Zoom. If you want to share your sound on Zoom, you got to stop sharing. Click on share screen, and there's a checkbox at the bottom which says share sound. You have to check that
Share
box before
screen.
sharing.
Oh yes. Okay. Cool. All right. We got it. DaVinci Resolve. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not letting me. Oh, can you hear it?
I think it's mute. I can't hear it. Can you hear it?
I can hear it.
Oh, that's fine then. I don't need to hear it. You just tell me if it's
Right. Okay. Still game, and this is just mic.
So if you right click, go to the clip attributes, you can test them, separate them out. You can select a different channel 4 or 5 because it could also be stereo, right? You could have recorded in stereo and not mono. The format is mono over there, but you can change it into stereo.
Oh, I think I figured it out. I think my other game is in a different channel. I still don't see any audio.
So you got to change it to stereo.
Oh, stereo. Right. Okay. Sorry.
So the first, at the start, the format,
Here you go.
stereo.
So change all of the stereo, do you think?
The first two are going to be, it's going to be 12. In DaVinci, you're going to see 12 tracks.
Yep.
You got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. In the embedded sections, you have to select all of the green ones first. You select all the green ones. I don't think you have selected all the green ones, by the way. If you scroll down, have you selected them? Now go to the clip attributes and just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, yeah. See, now you selected all of them. So now you have 12, right? So now you have to do mono for all and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. This is a weird thing. But now from stereo, you have to convert them to mono. So do mono and then on the second row, convert from stereo to mono first.
From stereo to mono.
Yeah, stereo to mono, the first one, 2, and then just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
So many layers. 9, 10, 11, 12. Here we go.
This should work now. Press OK.
And then click OK.
There is sound.
That looks different now. Okay, let me have a look at this. Yep, it split it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome.
Let me ask
I'm
you real
sweating.
quick, Winston, that's
I'm
awesome,
sweating. Give me a second.
That's awesome. Because I definitely couldn't have helped. That's quite a bit up.
I've never had somebody have 6 tracks, by the way. It's the first time.
Because so what I'm trying to do is basically I have a gameplay and then I have a mic and I want to make the cuts when I'm speaking. So it's just constant, fast-paced.
Yeah, I'll give you a tip, by the way. If you open TimeBolt, you can go to settings. I can't see TimeBolt, by the way, because you've shared only DaVinci Resolve. In the settings section, there is this option called, I think it's called create merged permutations of audio tracks. What TimeBolt does is for the first time, it creates combinations of audio tracks, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. If you don't want those combinations and you just want to run it on sound, like your voice, then you don't need that. You can check that box or uncheck it. If you uncheck it, doesn't create combinations. It only creates individuals.
What do you mean by that? Should I uncheck it if I wanted to focus
Yeah,
on my voice?
I can give you an option if you want. Just share TimeBolt. Like stop sharing DaVinci and share TimeBolt. I can
Okay.
show you what it does. Because I think you only want to run TimeBolt on your voice, right?
Yes, correct.
So if you go to settings, in the settings section, you just uncheck that box. Which says create merged audio tracks. And you got to restart your app for that. So click on that, do it, restart the app. And then when you run TimeBolt now, it won't create combinations of tracks. It will just run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Then it will make the cuts based on my voice.
You can select your voice from that. You can select which audio track you want. And I think I'll tell you what happens, right? Why that feature was created. That the merge tracks is when you have 2 people. So if you have you and your friend on separate audio tracks, and you want them to be merged together. So that TimeBolt can run on both the audio tracks. But for you, I don't think you need it because your voice is only on one audio track, right? So you don't need the combinations. You only want to run it on that track. It will say, so because making those combinations takes time. If you have 6 tracks, that's like 6 into, I don't know, like 24 combinations. That takes a while. For you, for your application, you don't need that. So you can just run it on a single track.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much for the help. That's all I needed for today.
Hey, can I ask you a real quick question from a gamer? How'd you find out about TimeBolt?
There is a dude on YouTube that made a video. He doesn't have his face cam, but he has his face cam just as a picture. Can't remember what it's called. I saw you guys comment on it as well. I was just basically looking for ways to save time. And his video came up. I can't remember what his name is now.
Marcus, maybe?
I can't remember. I've literally watched so many.
Well, good.
Yeah, Marcus, that's it. Marcus Jones.
Marcus. All right, excellent. He put out some pretty good tutorials. I would recommend for you to also know that we have the fast forward feature, which is unique to TimeBolt and our gaming experience. So that if you have live gameplay where you don't want to cut the action, the order of how you develop a character matters, but
Yep.
you just aren't talking about it. You can also in TimeBolt just hit fast forward silences, and then you click the bar above the playhead. That automatically turns it to.
I was wondering what that means. Does it just play this? Does it just play the specific clip in a specific speed rather than
Cutting it out, it speeds it up.
So you hit fast forward silences. Now I can automate this. Like for a gaming content creator, let's say, hey, look, anytime I'm not talking for less than 3 seconds, right? I want to increase the rate of speech by a 2, 3, 4x. I can do that and see all this. They turn orange. Like
Yep.
anything less than 3 seconds is sped up by 2, 3, or 4x. You can maintain mouse clicks, action in the gameplay. You can say I wouldn't mute it. Okay, I'd unmute it because you're still going to keep the gameplay audio. There's not going to be like a big silence or like cuts in it. And
how do you can you select to undo just one of these orange? Oh, there you go.
right here. And if you don't want to, I don't personally automate that, but just like what you said, you just go ahead and hit the bar of the playhead like that. And what's nice is this also exports via XML, and I don't know, and I'm not sure about the integration, all that, but stuff. But I think XML is going to work just fine for you. That it also exports XMLs along with punch in. Okay, hit the P key, and you can punch in. Okay, you're not having to do keyframes, and you do Alt or Option. And you can move around the screens.
So punch in is basically zooming in, right? Okay.
And it's non-destructible, by the way.
Basically shows ins and outs. Are you able to drag that left and right?
You can split it and turn it off if you want to.
Left and right.
So,
what do you mean drag it left and right?
On that red bar there, on the top where you click it to turn it on or off, there are 2 white lines, the ins and outs. Can you drag that to the left and make it wider?
you can split it. You can press S and press the O key to press O, Doug.
Right. Okay.
You can cut it out, make a split, and then turn it off. We don't implement the drag and drop because it doesn't fit in with the philosophy of TimeBolt. We tried it once. It wasn't very good. We just have the split and
Makes sense.
USO, just remember USOB, man. You just gotta on your free time, just freaking click the letters. U. Oh wow, that jumped back, that unwound it.
USOB.
3 spots.
Right. Okay.
S. Split the timeline. See what happened right here. If I want to cut this out, I hit B for back cut, and I hit O. I'm telling you, if you learn how to edit in this, there's no reason to ever do this inside DaVinci Resolve because this is quantum times faster. You just have to learn 4 keys, and you just go into Resolve with a fully cut timeline where you're not adding time or taking away.
That's awesome. How do you get the native, well, not the native, but the extension for it?
if you go up to multi-file utilities at the top, you can either get it there or you can get it at the features page on time. So TimeBolt.io/features. In that page, you have the DaVinci Resolve export option at the top.
You just go up to our homepage, click features, everything. We got to have one, there's teaching about TimeBolt and how to use TimeBolt. And then there's all these integrations, right? We're trying to organize the information to where we'll teach you about TimeBolt and our onboard video and stuff. But when it comes to actually how to export, because these all have their own, you got unique instructions for each. You've got resources and where to find information on office hours.
Yeah.
And
where is the button on Mac again? In DaVinci itself?
In the multi-file utility section.
I don't see that.
It's in the top bar, and this is the menu bar.
Right here. The tools.
So I go into DaVinci Resolve, right?
No.
Yeah, DaVinci Resolve integration.
I don't have that.
No.
You do. I'm looking at it.
Oh, sorry. There you go. In TimeBolt.
Yeah, in TimeBolt, you go to the top
I'm
file,
going
edit
right here.
account.
There you go. Yep.
I don't know.
I'm a Windows guy. I'm lost. There you go.
Perfect.
DaVinci Resolve.
I'm a Windows guy too.
This is my first day today. It's Bambi. Everything is backwards. Literally the opposite.
Nice.
Right. Brilliant. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate that. And the program, the app is unbelievable. It's insane. I'm going to be recommending it to a lot of people.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Catch you later.
Bye-bye. Take care.
All right. Bye.
I have another question.
Sure.
And Doug, you heard this a year ago. I think about a year ago is when I did this. I told you I have that keyword phrase. It would be nice. And I don't know if it would be built into the Umcheck, but if I said next chapter, it would be awesome if there was a way just to have that keyword phrase just to be able to find it.
Yeah, you could. You 100% can, because you can just type it. You can type any custom keyword you want.
Okay. And that would be within.
It would be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let me show you how that would work.
It's different though if he's identifying it for a time slot, because there's no relative understanding.
Oh, let me see what we're talking about.
What I'm saying is I recorded the video, and let's say I'm an hour into it, and then I go next chapter, right? That would be my keyword phrase. If I was able to quickly find it next chapter, I can go ahead and be able to put a chapter mark in there saying this is.
I feel like we can add this in TimeBolt is that right now what TimeBolt does is it has one button which is called turn off cuts. So let's say this is the TimeBolt thing, right? Umcheck. And if I get rid of everything, and let's say you'll add is your you or now you is the keyword, right? This is you'll type that keyword in there. and you'll find it where it is. Now, when you press turn off, that part is going to be turned off. But the thing you're saying is you need to know where it is. That's the important part, right? And I was thinking about the same thing in the like yesterday, because I was like, if I'm using Umcheck and I delete something and I want to know where that deletion happened, what can be done? And I think the best way is to mark it directly, because now chapters and markers are separated out, right? So chapters is not connected to markers. So now what you can do is you can have a button at the maybe at the bottom or a checkbox here which says check mark turned off cuts. Now when you click, if you add that feature and then you turn it off, it will mark that cut that it turned off.
I don't know.
So you can easily find it because it's marked.
Yeah. I'm just mentioning that. Remember, I just told you earlier that I have that little keyword phrase that once I do my transcription of my video, it goes right. I can go right to that keyword phrase and say, okay, I know what that next chapter is, right?
I would just say, like, we're okay with operating on the principle with TimeBolt. You're going to have to watch your footage once in general terms, right? It's different. I don't have to watch my footage if I'm sending a one-to-one video to Quinston, but I do want him to watch it. That means I'm not going to send him some video full of dead air, because then if your message doesn't get communicated, you might as well not even do it in the first place. And that's why videos broke today. Is because the effort to do it is outweighs getting it to a point where somebody is okay with watching it, right? Going from boring to watchable. I just don't know, because then, Quinston, that might work if we had like a certain word, but then if you run the whole, you're gonna have to run the whole Umcheck anyway. So you wouldn't be removing ums and ahs. You'd be looking for it as like markers. And then if you updated it, it would reset all the cuts, right? Like you wouldn't say, hey, find all the places that says chapter, next chapter, mark those, and then run reset, run Umcheck, because it would reset all the cuts. You would lose those.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's fine, because people like do destructive editing in Premiere Pro all the time. So there's a process, right?
I guess if it kept the markers. I guess if it kept them.
I'm saying it'll always be like it's a choice. You don't have to put the markers in. You can have a checkbox, right? If you want to keep them, you can. If you don't want them, that's fine. You just do the Umcheck regularly. It's a choice of marking them.
Yeah, it was just an idea, guys. I was just throwing that out there as an idea.
One question. Was not possible to do like he's suggesting, but choosing the words or the phrases and like, I'm sorry, my ignorance, and like in words, you click on the words and it pops up something. It's this is a marker or this is a chapter.
That's also possible.
That way, Doug, like you said, you don't lose nothing. You don't set nothing. You just select that word and you, I don't know,
right click or something.
No clicking.
Specific will be a chapter. This specific will be a marker, something.
I think that's a good idea too. You can just have like individual items, individual words that you just like select and right click and mark them. Yeah, that's also possible. Or you can just mark them, or you can just have like you can just say mark every word that's selected.
Because that way you can select exactly what you want and you continue the workflow like before.
No, I appreciate you bringing that up in discussion. Let me see. This is really what a unscripted conversation looks like. Quinston had like a 5-minute file. This is more like what an unscripted conversation looks like. The removing of the repeats. Okay, there's so many. Here, let me find.
It gets hairy.
Like this. Because I'm a repeating, stuttering fool, right? I just never even knew how much I say the same thing over twice. I apologize ahead of time. It's definitely not as fun talking to me live. This third, once you remove this stuff, it really does just flow. Happy New Year. It's great. Once that's in place, this is the other piece that I wanted to show you. Using this as far as work-related applications. Try the screen recorder. This has just been absolutely improved. I can't say it enough how much this has kind of changed my workflow. Yeti Nano, the screen one. There's nothing like super innovative about a screen recorder right now, except for you've got standard and high quality. This just works like it should, right? But this right here, you're able to save as a standard, something that if you have a minute, it's going to be 30 megs long versus 300 megs.
That if I use the time recording, automatically do the cuts, all that.
So I'm just getting some content right here. I'm going to just talk for a second. Imagine you've got a creative feedback that you've got to give, and you've got a choice. There's times when you have to write a 5-paragraph email or annotate screenshots and draw a bunch of lines, which takes a bunch of time, and then somebody has to read it. You have to they're either going to have to read it or watch. Or you can make a video. You don't usually want to make a video. Instead, you'll sit down and write 5 paragraphs and then fine tune that so people actually read it, okay? Because it'd take too long to do with a video. Well, with TimeBolt, you just hit record, you stop talking, I can start talking again, and you'll see when I go back, switching scenes, I stop talking, and now I'm back talking at this scene. I've got sticky corners that go back and forth. You've got different filler words, right? But now, after I get done recording myself on my screen, I hit stop share. Watch this. Oh, shit. The wrong one. Stop share. I meant to hit stop record.
It's at the extreme right.
So I hit stop record. If I want to call it something, I call it something. But you basically are saving the source files. No matter what, you're able to save the file.
Yes, and it optimizes the file so that it's small enough to send.
So this is
In Slack.
optimizing for standard quality. If this is a minute long or a minute and a half, you'd be looking at 150, 200 megs typically, okay, with like on QuickTime. This is going to spit something out that's like 20 or 30. Okay, you hit sure you want to process a new file. Yes. Okay, and here we go. We've got our TimeBolt, we've got our file. It's automatically pushed into TimeBolt. It cuts it down by 16 seconds. You can then go through and do the same thing like we were talking about before, right? Yeah, so where you can quickly Ginsu this up. And then what I do, of course, if I've got something that I want to accentuate, I do my punch, right? But this could be nothing. I could do nothing and this be quantum times better than the alternative of just sending a raw file, right? And it'll save you a bunch of time from writing a 5-paragraph email. Because it's an interpersonal work-related conversation, I usually put this bad boy, Quinston knows me, at like 1.3 or 1.2, okay? And this is what I do. Imagine if you're doing a support ticket and you can't upload a file. Okay, like I just ran into this yesterday. I do support tickets like with ThriveCart and stuff like that. I'll make a video and it's called Send a Banger. Okay, this is our banger feature. Okay, so now I can actually just click this, render and upload to an unlisted link. Don't show me this message again. It's got the turbo mode thrown on it. I could have run Umcheck. Like I'll just do that just because it's so fast. I could have just run Umcheck. If you've got a video that's 3 to 5 minutes, run Umcheck on it, because what it's going to do, it's going to take that 5-minute video and condense it down into 2 minutes and 20 seconds of usable, fast-paced information that you can reasonably expect somebody to watch. They'll watch it and say, holy shit, Mario or Dan sent me a video that looks like they edited it for YouTube, but it's a 1-to-1 video. Throws its turbo mode on here.
Yep, it's almost done.
Then it uploads to an unlisted link.
While that's running, before you leave, if you can just one last time show me how to.
Right here, this is where I'm able to copy the link, copy this link, and when you put that into the body of an email or something like that, it sends it in an unlisted link. You're able to watch it directly online. And the key is that I can now capture and send a link to a watchable video faster than it takes to record live. And that's a game changer in video communications. That is our Send a Banger. Of course, you can also download it to your computer and you'll also have a file that's, like I said, let's see, how big is this thing?
Where do you sign up for the Banger functionality?
It's built-in TimeBolt.
Built in. See, like that.
There was that button, right? He clicked the button to
20
upload.
Yep.
Can you show him the button again? Just the icon?
I see it.
And I always do turbo just because why not? There's no reason not to. You can click here, right? But video communications to do this. And then of course you can add it to your render queue. It'll also render, but you just saw the raw video was 20 megabits for a minute and a half. And what we can do is after it gets done splitting, of course you can save on high quality if you're going to upload to YouTube, right? Or if it was super high res was important, but most of your screen sharing and stuff like that, you just don't need it. Gets done with the turbo mode. And I'll show you what the quality looks like. Hell, that took it down to 19.4 megabits.
Nice.
So I'm gonna just talk for a second. Imagine you've got creative feedback that you've got to give, and you've got a choice. There's times when you have to write a 5-paragraph. That's good enough quality to see what's going on the screen. And now I can take that file and drop it into a body of the email. I can drop it into Slack, and you have manageable file sizes. Do you have any questions about the capture, Send a Banger feature, any of that stuff Dan, do you see yourself using something like that?
Yes, because on occasion I'm teaching advanced critical thinking and statistics and problem solving, advanced statistical critical thinking. So on occasion, I have to go back and say, hey, look, this is what the concept and here's why it's important. Here are the key things to look at and then move on. I could see me having to do something doing that.
So help it save some time from typing emails and all that for you. Just helps improve overall communication. Mike, do you have any specific question for us today?
It's related to Final Cut workflow.
What can we help you with?
Hey, doing pretty good. I'm having this, I think it might just be user error on my part, where I'm trying to, cut some time on the cuts with TimeBolt. But when I add my video to TimeBolt and I get it all dialed in, the challenge I'm having is that the cuts are just it cuts off some of the audio on the edits, even though I have the padding in there. It looks good, sounds good when it's in TimeBolt, and then when I send it over to Final Cut, the cuts are just way too closed in on the end and the beginning of the video.
0.01. You can be much more aggressive. No, leave your right padding at 0.15, okay? Because that's where it catches your trailing S's and T's. Hit update silence detection settings, okay? And this is going to scroll through your timeline. Let's just make sure everything's, just kind of wave through it, go to the right. We're just taking a look at it, seeing how things are cut. Okay, scroll down to the settings just one more time, a little bit more. All right, you got the 0.75 on? Okay, perfect. This is where you're going to want your settings, okay? Once we figure this out. So now go up to your tools menu up at the very top. No, go up here.
In the menu bar.
See the menu bar? Go to variable frame rate detector. Select that file. that we just put in there?
Can I just drop it in?
Yeah, you
I don't think drag and drop it. Okay, it works.
Oh, right.
I didn't think it worked.
If he detects that's variable frame rates, the TimeBolt will cut in the right way.
A TimeBolt can convert the file into a file that can work.
It's just like a check, right? Why the hell is this happening? You can understand, is it a file thing or is there some other setting that's off, right? We've got TimeBolt to a place where it's doing great math. The math that it spits out finds all the silence as well. You could immediately, instead of doing like, once he just knows that if this is variable frame rate, he can either fix it on the camera end, find out why he's recording variable frame rate files out of his camera. And if it's a settings thing, there's lots of different camera types and all that. Or he can leave it the exact same way and know that after he gets done recording, he wants to throw it into TimeBolt's converter, okay, to re-encode it at a constant frame rate. So this is just like a way to check sanity. It'll be done here in a bit.
How does that affect typically when I go to Final Cut? When I start a new project, it asks me what frame rate I believe that I want to select, and I usually put it at 30 because on the camera it just says 4K 50. I think. Does that also influence?
I would think so, doesn't it, Quinston? You're recording at 4K 50.
Let's see. I'm not sure what the problem is. I'm just waiting for this to get over. We can eliminate one. Let's wait for this to finish. I can have a better answer if this finishes.
Sure.
I don't think this is variable frame rate, by the way.
It must not be. Not if you're doing.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think this is variable frame rate. No. Can you open Final Cut Pro? Let's just see what's happening in Final Cut Pro.
Did it say what frame rate it was at?
Yeah, what frame rate is it at? The file. You can just press Command I on the file. Command I, maybe that would work. Can you go back to TimeBolt? Just go to the bottom and just press FCP XML export. It comes in the
That's right. The file name.
Just click on it. 29.97. When you create the file now, it's supposed to be at 29.97. Now, okay, do cancel and just take that file and just take the normal FCP XML file and put it into a project and see if that works. I think you can just go there and just click on that link and just open it up directly. And now you can select the library and add it in. Okay, just open it up. Are the cuts too like deep?
There is what I would typically get where it doesn't. It like cuts it off before I get to finish the sentence.
Can you separate out the audio? Can you select all Command A and separate out the audio? Just Command A, right click, separate. Yeah. And now can you zoom in? Not the white zoom in. Okay.
Are you saying it's cutting you off right now?
Can you click on it? Okay.
Let me just see.
Can you compare that with TimeBolt? Can you compare that with?
No, hold on. I don't think it's cutting. I don't see what the issue is. What I'm saying.
He doesn't want the aggressive cuts.
That might be because I made an error there.
Hold on. Your cuts are fine. It's not cutting your words off. It's not cut. Like you can adjust the padding levels, but like you were saying that like your words were getting cut off. Like it was cutting off like the middle of the back half of your sentence or something.
Yeah, funny enough, it's like when you go to the doctor when you're sick and then it's all of a sudden you're feeling much better.
Well, I think
no. So let's add your audio now. So this is like without the audio file, right? This is not the way you do it.
No, how I would typically do it is in TimeBolt, I go for the
multicam, correct. Remember when you came out last time, we talked about multi. Can you open this? Can you do your regular way and just see if that works properly?
I think Quinston, what the issue was, what he was saying before is that he would start a new project and he said he would just throw it on a 30 frames per second, even though the project frame rate was 29.97.
No, but you don't need to select the 29. When you open the Final Cut multicam thing, it doesn't ask you to select the frame rate.
I think the way he was importing.
Okay. And now can you add your audio in it? It could also be an audio issue because maybe you're recording your audio on your computer, right? I'm assuming it's on a computer.
No, actually I record it separately into a Rodecaster Pro.
Okay, understood. We'll check that out one more time. So just add an angle and drop in your file, like the way you regularly do it.
Do this here and then I'd sync it.
Eyeball the clips first. Can you just eyeball them if they are like drifting apart? Can you go to the end of the file and just eyeball it if it's drifting? Can you notice any drift just by looking at it? I don't think so, right?
No, it's on.
It looks pretty on par.
Okay, now let's do the same thing. Let's just play it again and see if I think you'll have to mute it. Did you mute the first one? I'm not sure.
Actually, that's another thing. I'd usually give this title of audio.
Okay, let's now do the same thing. Let's zoom in and see the cuts exactly. Like really close, zoom in really close and just see. Okay, that doesn't look right.
He just altered it.
He altered it? You altered it?
This one he did. He already altered that when he was looking at that manually.
So I'm wondering if it's because I just saw that when I sync the file,
the sync is
like gap clip here. I don't know how that might affect it.
No, you can't have that gap. You have to have the primary be starting at 0. That's the thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because what I do is after I put the audio in there, then I do what I just did, which was a sync angle to monitoring angle, and then because I start my audio first, it usually puts this gap clip.
This is what I'm saying. I think everything's synced. Okay, just go like you were.
No, it's drifting. See, it's drifting. Now I can see the drift. That's
Where?
The thing. It's the first wave is the top wave is ahead of the first. Like now I can see the drift. See, it has a drift there. It's the peak is not matching. There wasn't a drift. Something happened in the middle there, which I didn't realize. Something happened. What happened? Let's go back. Do a Control C or a Command C. Just go back. Something happened which kind of messed it up, I think.
So like this is how it is before, and then when I add the clip, I then
What happens if you
No, sync selection to monitoring angle. The second option. Sync. You select that clip and then sync selection to monitor. Correct.
it just adds that gap clip there.
I think. Okay. Can you just pull that in? Maybe you can just pull it in. I don't know if that works, but not this one, the bottom one. The audio. Can you just pull in the audio and now pull the whole thing back? I think not like that, like the entire clip. Can you pull the entire clip back? Yeah, both of them. Just pull them back like that. Okay. Now go back. Now go back to the original clips. And that's an aggressive cut, right? I think now it's just an aggressive cut.
It's back to.
So I think that's what happens. It got holes pushed across when you were syncing it up in Final Cut Pro. Let's go through it again just to make sure we're right. Just start off with the multicam from TimeBolt. Delete this project. We'll just make sure that that's what's happening. Go to TimeBolt, click on that file, XML. Just create a new one or just use that one. _2. Select one. Add the audio.
So he's adding the audio, Winston. Can he just make it shorter than can he just pull the audio over?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now what you do is you just pull the audio, make it smaller. Like shorten the audio from the front. That way it's going to sync perfectly. But now you right click on it. Yeah, and then you do correct one. Yes. And now if you go back, it should work perfectly. You don't have to do the pull back again. Now it should just work.
Still kind of doesn't give me enough padding here.
You control the padding inside.
So that you can do in TimeBolt. So now you can control that in TimeBolt.
When you say it doesn't give you enough padding, okay, I'm asking, is it cutting off your words?
I don't know if you guys can hear the audio. Let me see.
You can't. It's up to you. You tell us as you're playing it.
I think that's fine. That's like a creative decision from his part.
Yeah. That's
how much padding he wants. If you want a different sort of padding, you can go to Time. Now we know that it's right. We just want to increase the amount of padding in TimeBolt, right? So you can go to TimeBolt, do the padding that you initially had, maybe like increase it from 0, because right now it's 0.01, which is like super aggressive.
Well, what I'm saying is like, this is like at the 3-minute, 55-second mark. Like I would want I don't know if you can hear that I'm not. And the best part, it's 100% for this second. See, so like I was supposed to say it's 100% free, but that last free didn't get in. And when I pull it, you'll see that like, oh, that's the end of the clip, right?
So what you'll need to do is, this is the TimeBolt thing now. Now you need to go in, increase your decibel levels. There are 2 ways to do this. And go to that same line in TimeBolt. Where is that same line in TimeBolt? Yeah, see, it's being cut off at the end. Can you play that?
You're like trailing off.
In his book, Alex outlined 4 major ways in which you can generate leads to your business. Testing.
That part is just getting cut off. I think what you need, where's the other part though? Let's check the part where you say free. Is this the one?
To back it up.
It has to be somewhere. Is it around here? It cuts off the reds. I see here.
It's probably here. It's 100%.
Yeah, see that it's not there in the detections. What's happening is, to fix this, what you're going to do is, remember this. If you make the filter below value more negative, it's going to be getting that. Make it 40. If you making it 40 makes it more negative, right? Because minus signs. 40 will be more negative. If you press 40, it will give you more greens. The more negative you make that value, the more greens you're going to capture.
Right.
Yeah. Up to minus 42.
Just to update silence detection.
Lower decibels, right?
So press click on update decibels. Yeah, see now you don't need to change your padding. Now you just need to look. Let's try it again. Let's export to multicam. You get a new file. God, please make this work. Add the audio.
I have to trim this first.
Yes, correct.
Set it to monitoring angle. Now it's I can see it. It goes at the 3-minute 45.
At the largest one, I think was the longest one. I think you were reading it off, right?
Yep.
Okay,
you just got
much better now. 100% free. The second problem.
Perfect.
I think the motto right now is that what you did to fix this was to change the decibel level, not the padding. Okay.
Right.
And your words are getting cut off. It is not because of the padding. It's because of the decibel level. You could increase the padding as much as you want. And it's still not going to, it's going to mess up all your other cuts.
I just thought I just kept increasing the padding. And then what would happen is some clips, it would be just way too long at the end. And then some clips, it would be like really short. Like that one was cut off. I was like confused because if I would increase it to get that last part, I'm now looking at other clips where it's just way too long.
So now you could go back. This is a creative decision. It's up to you. Okay. But remove silences longer than, I wouldn't have it at a second and a half. I'd have it more at something like 0.5%.
Like 0.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then you have to press update because you would update that.
What is the remove silences longer than?
Okay, make it very aggressive. Make 0.2. Now press update.
Oh.
It makes it removes silences longer than 0.2 seconds. So if your silence is less than 0.2 seconds, it keeps it in.
That starts with the decibel level.
Decibel. That's usually the only thing you need to change. Padding is usually fine. Obviously, as Doug said, this is like creative decision. A lot of YouTubers like the jump cuts to start off very aggressively. For other uses, it might be fine. If you have really bad audio, that is not recommended because it's only recommended if you have like perfect studio quality audio.
No, these cuts, like I can even tell that these cuts look way better as well too. Like they just, because same thing, I have it like cut right at the mark when it's starting, and then towards the end I kind of leave a little wiggle room just for like a transition or whatever.
I always recommend playing around with these settings when you start off, and the most important one, you want to spend 40% of your time, 50% of your time on the decibel value level, because once you set it up, you don't have to change it ever again, because usually what happens is your recording environment stays the same. Your you have your camera in the same place, your mic in the same place, and you have your workflow, right? Yeah. If your workflow is not changing, your recording style is not changing, your equipment isn't changing, you never need to touch that value again, because you're going to use the same microphone, you're going to record in the same way, you're going to have the same type of files. That value will never change. You might change the padding somewhat. Maybe you want it to be a chill stream or a chill edit. You're going to increase the padding, give people more time to breathe. That could also be possible. Or you want to be very aggressive, make a pitch.
If you do change your your Rodecaster to maybe a medium gain level, you will.
Yeah, you need to change it. If you change your gain value, you need to change that value.
Run. I think it was just happening because it is kind of a slow deal. The volume is a little bit low. Sounds like you're set, man. Are you good?
Yeah, pretty good. And I think, yeah, that's a good point where I can probably just increase the gain that the peaks are high enough for it to recognize it.
Exactly. And just let the math run. You don't, if you do change, just let the math run.
Yeah. One more thing, I think the reason it happened is because you were doing it before on your audio, and your mic audio has like really good audio. It was picking up the cuts very easily without you having the right settings anyway, even though because the quality of the sound audio from the microphone was so high that it didn't matter.
Gotcha.
But when you use your camera audio, it did matter because the camera isn't, the microphone in the camera isn't that good.
Yeah.
As compared to your studio microphone. That could also be an issue there.
Well, I think, do you have any additional questions, Michael?
No. Well, I guess, would you suggest that maybe it might be better for me to route because I need to see the clip. Would it be recommended to get the audio into the camera? That way, when I bring it into TimeBolt, it has the audio levels already.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. It might require a little bit of effort once, but it might be a good idea because it will save you a lot of time too. You don't have to do multicam. You can just do Final Cut Pro XML, just a regular XML, because everything will be in that file. It's just like, that is like a workflow optimization thing. You don't have to do it because I think with these settings, you can just work with the camera. I think it's fine. But if you want even more aggressive cuts and even more accurate cuts, try it out. It's all about optimization. You are getting your video out. You just need to, like, if you want to optimize, save more time. I think it would save you like what 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. If that's worth it to you, you could do it.
Okay. Solid. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Dan, thank you for joining us, Michael. Dan, and for choosing TimeBolt. Dan?
No, I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Great. It was great talking with everybody today. Thank you for joining us for live office hours. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and of course the notification bell when we go live, because I know that everybody cares when that happens, and we're out of time. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Bye-bye, guys. Take care.